Hey everyone, Magic Sword here. Let's get right into it because it's late and I'm tired. No pretense. We're going to start with Call of the Grave for this reveal session. Discover a Death Rattle minion. If you have enough mana to play it, trigger its Death Rattle. Reminiscent of the Hunter cards that do similar, right? Cool to see Priest getting this Death Rattle synergy. We have seen historically Priest, Rogue, Hunter, they're all kind of the Death Rattle classes, right? Good to see Priest getting a little bit here. Um, I think that this has a lot of potential. Um, I'm busy thinking in terms of Quest Priest. I don't know, but you'll notice that it is a shadow spell, so it does work with Benedictus. So if Benedictus can get us off the ground, this is a powerful tool in that toolkit, right? Discover usually is just value generation, but this is also tempo potentially because you are triggering that death rattle. You'll be given some interesting choices where you are looking at the cards and you're like, okay, well, this one's a better card in general, but the death rattle doesn't trigger right now because I don't have enough mana, right? Um, and since you need enough mana like right then to play it, not just like total mana crystals, it's kind of important to know like, oh, yeah, this is. I mean, you should always draw first, always discover first, but this has super priority over that even, right? And I know what I'm about to say might be controversial, but the big deal with Priest, always discovering, always created by, always whatever, discovering from a more limited pool, like just Death Rattle minions, is better. I don't know if it's good enough. Death Rattle is still a pretty broad term. It's probably fine, honestly. This will be great if this is like the best discover card Priest has next year. You know what I mean? Like if all that other stuff rotates and this is like the most powerful discover card they have, will have achieved a good balance. So otherwise this seems like just a generally good card, right? Whenever discover can channel its normal value generation into tempo as well, that's always a good sign for the person discovering, of course. So I have quite a bit of faith in Call of the Grave here. Let's scroll up to legendary Sheldras Moontree. Love it. This is, I think, excluding the quest lines because they're basically just like, I win the game now. Sheldras Moontree has the most interesting effect revealed so far. The next three spells you draw are cast when drawn. This is totally unique. We haven't seen anything like this before. Call of the Grave is comparable to a number of things. Even Benedictus, that start a game effect, comparable to other things. But the next three cards, the next three spells you draw are cast when drawn, is so powerful, right? And it's 8 mana. So if you have, there's loads of 2 mana card draw, or let's say you end up, you might have 0 mana card draw from the previous turn, right? You are already ramped up to 10, so you use your mana ramping spells to get that little token draw card thing. So you get that. You play this on 10. Well, you're always on 10 mana as Druid, right? So you play this, draw for free, get cast when drawn, right? So it cycles. Cast when drawn is a very powerful effect, and being able to add it to your spells is obviously just as powerful. The one downside, of course, is targeted spells are kind of a problem. Right now, though, Druid doesn't really run too many of those. I will say that something like Guess the Weight, you're not choosing higher or lower, so it's basically a coin flip at that point. So Cast When Drawn is very powerful because it lets you cycle, right? Puts cycling on cards that normally just wouldn't have it. And it allows you to get through your deck faster, get free resources, right? And I'm assuming most people will be able to draw on the turn that they play this, right? So you're going to, give +4/+4 to all the minions, and then maybe summon 2 beasts with rush, right? Um, there are some very powerful implications for a big druid deck here. Um, some people have suggested spell druid. For Spell Druid, this might be one last hurrah, that sort of deal, right? Where you just drop him, draw a card, and hope that you get it in a reasonable sequence where you can build a board and buff it. I find that very unlikely. Plus, running minions in Spell Druid isn't great because you rely on that draw that discards minions. So, overall, I think this is the most interesting card we've seen yet for this expansion. And it'll be good, not game breaking. I think it'll see play in Big Druid. Maybe, there are various types of Big Druids, right? Some involve clowns, some involve primordial, some are both, whatever. But I don't think it'll really change any major or make any major archetypes for Druid, right? It'll just add to the existing ones that we have. Whereas I think that this new Warlock spell, Demonic Assault, this might bring Zoo back into view here, right? Now, with this, of course, 3 damage is nothing to sneeze at. Summoning 2 1/3s with taunt. Just summoning Voidwalkers is always nice. You always want to see more Voidwalkers. They have been a staple of Zoo until recently when they rotated out, right? So we do want to see Demonic Assault, I think, in a Zoo style deck. I think we also want to see Demonic Assault potentially in Quest Warlock as a control tool, right? You want to kill a minion with it and then put up some taunts. That's always good. Put off that damage for another turn, especially since you're going to be doing so much damage to yourself. And even deal 3 damage, right? So suddenly you can target yourself with that for some BM, right? That's something we always want to look forward to. If you activate that quest and you target yourself with a spell like this, you are damaging the opponent. We want that. We love that. We live for that. So overall, this is a very powerful card. People have been comparing it to Implosion. I mean, it's probably strictly better than Implosion just because it's more reliable. And summoning 2 1/3s instead of 3 1/1s. Probably better overall to get the 1/3s, but on 4 mana, maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference anymore. Hard to say. So I think this is a very strong card that'll slot into a lot of different Warlock decks. And while we're talking about Warlock, I did a little joke review. That's not the order at all. I guess that's the order they released. Okay. Did a little joke review of Touch of the Nethrazim. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it dies, restore 4 to your hero. The joke was like, yeah, this is going to be good in the quest next. Okay. It was a 10-second video, whatever. This is, of course, like I said in the joke, going to be good in Quest Warlock because you want to heal. The first thing I thought of when I saw the quest, one of the first things, was Warlock has plenty of ways to hurt itself, especially with things like Backfire, right? That aren't always in. You got Flame Backfire, a bunch of other things. You need some ways to heal, though. And the quest does provide you with healing, right? The mini rewards between quests for the whole line deal damage and provide healing. But you probably need more than that. And this is your answer, right? Deal 2 damage to a minion. Killing a minion is a form of, it's a form of health management. I was going to say healing, but health management, right? So by killing a minion, you reduce damage taken the following turn. And by restoring health, you, of course, restore health. So, Touch of the Nethrazim, very strong card, potentially even useful in non-quest decks, depending on what exactly your goal is, right? Reminds me a bit of the card draw one, the deal 1, draw a card, right? Reminds me a bit of that. Reminds me a bit of, Warlock has so many sacrifice-themed cards. The Evil Genius, right? There are a few like that. Of course, it does not have to target a friendly minion. It targets a minion, period. So it could target a friendly minion if you really need health. Or let's say you're fighting Hunter and you have a 2 health guy on the board and you're like, I'm dead if that Rhino hits that 2 health guy. Well, now you're extra not dead because you remove that option for them and you heal yourself, right? So this card has a lot of versatility, some edge cases that create some really interesting play, and overall, I think Demonic Assault is much more versatile. This is clearly built as support for the quest, right? Demonic Assault's a bit more of a general thing. Could be Zoo, could be useful for quest, right? Could be useful in pretty much any archetype. I think that this, so I don't do star ratings, but to give you a sense here, if Demonic Assault is a 5-star or like a 4-star, just like strong all around card, this is like a 3-star. Supports an archetype, okay all around, right? So that is everything. I meant to lump Nethrazim into the previous card review, but totally forgot. And thankfully, they released another Warlock card, so it's thematically appropriate to talk about it now. But that is it for tonight. There will be a few more card reveals in the wee hours of the morn, and I will not be waking up to do that. So you will get those videos probably before noon Eastern Standard Time in the US, and then another batch like this one around midnight. So, see you guys tomorrow. We're going to rock these card reviews. All right. Make sure you sub so you don't miss them, and I'll see you then.